Hey guys, today we're going to be playing around with ReactOS. Now initially I wanted to do a real hardware install of this and I tried and I didn't get very far. So let me just give you an idea of what happened. So I had a Optiplex 3050 and I thought let's try it on some new hardware and see how that goes. And well, I thought I was doing good, and everything loaded up, and it was booting, and I thought this is great, this is easy, and this happened. So yeah, even though I managed to do a full install on another older system, let's take a look at that first. I'm not going to stay on this for very long. I just wanted you to actually see that I did manage to install it on real hardware. All right, so this is the Think Center that I managed to get a full working version installed. And the install actually goes pretty quick. It doesn't take very long to install ReactOS. And this is on some pretty old hardware. It's a Pentium system with 1 gig of RAM and an 80 gig hard drive, I believe. And so this is very similar to Windows NT, and I even believe a Windows 2000 installation was like this. They almost, it looks like they're almost trying to reproduce the exact same look and feel of the older operating systems. So one thing I did discover while I was trying to install this on real hardware is that ReactOS doesn't like USB or doesn't like the newest versions of USB. So I ended up swapping out my USB mouse and keyboard for a PS2 style keyboard and mouse, and it managed to stop crashing so that I could actually install it. So right here we're looking at Windows XP install that was on this computer. So I've gone through deleting the partition and creating what looks like a FAT, but it's actually a FAT32 partition. So it doesn't say FAT32 here, but when you actually select all this stuff, it eventually goes into creating a FAT32 partition. So the other things is that this is all very familiar here, but this looks like, you know, new information. I don't remember seeing this on the Windows NT or Windows 2000 install. But I'm not sure how much useful information this is. I guess it's nice. It doesn't hurt. I mean, like, it was empty space here before, so it really doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm just I'm gonna fast forward a bit. We don't need to watch the whole thing install. Okay. So this stage, it gives you a choice of installing a bootloader, MBR and VBR, VBR only, install bootloader from a floppy. The first time I did this, I go, you know, I don't need a bootloader, so I didn't select one, and it turns out you actually need a bootloader. Anyway, so this is booting up again. So this is the second phase after you install the, you go through that blue screen setup. And so this is where it starts detecting devices. All standard information here. I just kind of clicked on some things to see what options you get. Looks very familiar to the regional setup that you see in all Windows versions. Yeah, I just selected my location just to be a little fancy there. And here I just decided to change the default information. Yeah, it's Nick's hardware right there. And I decided to set a password just to, you know, see if it actually uses it. On some videos I've seen, it directly goes into the operating system without prompting for anything. So I just, I wanted to put in the password information there and see if it would actually give me the option. And so it looks like you could choose from a couple of themes. So I just left it on classic. I decided to see what's on custom, and yeah, there wasn't really anything there I can choose. So it gives you the option to, like, you know, install it in a workgroup or a domain. Just to keep it simple, I left it on a workgroup mode. And there it went. It actually did everything pretty quick compared to, from what I remember, the old days of installing Windows NT. It would actually take a few minutes longer than that. So there's the BIOS screen on my ThinkSetter, and yeah, all familiar looking. And so yeah, it didn't prompt for a password, just went straight in. So it looks like it didn't install all the drivers. It's missing something. And the first time I ran this, it didn't detect the onboard network card. So I kind of looked through my old junk and found this Realtek PCI card that I installed, and it actually was successful at detecting it. It also looks like it doesn't pick out the proper video driver. So you can see there that the CPU in there is a E2200. And it does display some USB information there. But for some reason, if I plug in some USB key, USB mouse, or USB keyboard, it crashes. So even though there's some kind of limited USB support, it doesn't look like it actually works very well. I tried all kinds of things, but it doesn't look like it's ready for real hardware. It needs a lot of work. Rather than just give up, try installing it on VirtualBox. And this is what we got right here. It's already installed. I didn't want to go through the whole install setup. I just showed you part of the real hardware install. I don't think you need to see it again. What's weird is that it runs so much better in a virtual environment. Like, it literally doesn't crash like it does on real hardware. That looks almost identical to the one that comes with Windows. So calculator again, looks almost exactly the same. WordPad again, almost the same. And here we have remote desktop. So I did try this, and it kind of works. Administrator. I'm gonna get it. There we go. Okay, so I'm logged into my server. This is a Windows 2008 Foundation server, and got a bunch of stuff I test here. So we can choose the display settings, but no, nothing else. So unlike the here, let's pull up so remote desktop on Windows, we could do a lot more local resources. We could map our local drives here. We can map printers, and we've got all kinds of keyboard shortcut settings, audio settings, some caching abilities. So all this stuff is available in Windows, but it's rather plain, but it's okay. It's still better than what I was expecting. Event viewer. I think this is kind of broken a little bit. Nothing shows up in the application. Nothing there either. Maybe just taking some time to load. Nope. Oh, okay, cool. We got some errors. Application, nothing. Security, nothing. Only system logs appear to be working. Yeah, that's it. We can't do anything with sound because no audio driver. Task manager, yeah. Task manager, there we go. And process, show all process. Does it do anything? I don't think so. So the other thing I noticed is that we can't switch the view to see how many logical processors here. It just seems like it's all. I'm not even sure if ReactOS uses more than one processor or one core. You can kill some processes, and sometimes an application, But what I found with things like Firefox, it just doesn't work. But let's just try it while I'm recording a video just to see if it makes me look bad. Yep, it makes me look bad. Let's check out settings control panel. Add remove programs. Brings us back to the application manager. So this is different than your standard Windows, where it has its own way of installing applications. Service manager. So this is the same. It looks like the same. You can change the startup. Yep. Tells you the dependencies here. System configuration. Yeah, so this is the same as doing on your Windows system. msconfig. Drag this over here. So yeah, very similar. Lots of stuff on my system, but anyway, it's the same thing. Date and time. Yeah, this looks a little different here, kind of jaggy. No, it's not automatically set. Let's do that. Okay, display brings the same thing as if you were to right click on the desktop. Yeah, there we go. Same thing. Folder options. Oh, so by default this shows hidden files and folders. Normally this is off on Windows. But again, very similar. Yeah, I wanted to show hidden files. Let's do that. Internet settings, security. It doesn't look like there's much here. There actually should be more options for all this stuff, right? It's just only allowing you to select the level. Okay, user accounts. So there's my account, password never expires, membership administrator, yeah. But for some reason it doesn't prompt me to see. I don't know why. Maybe they haven't figured that part out yet. So, like, can we lock this? Shut down. Let's do task manager. Shut down. Can we lock computer? There we go. Input keyboard. Insert control. There we go. Okay, I purposely put the wrong password just to see that if actually checking. Oh, there we go. I didn't set a password for this. Run some CPU and disk benchmarks. So I tried doing this prior, and one of the utilities I use most often is this little crystal disk mark. It's not fancy, but it seems to be popular. So I tried this, and it's weird. Sometimes it gives me some numbers, and other times it doesn't give me anything. And I really didn't expect this to work on the virtual environment, because when I tried it on the actual hardware, it was blue screening. So it manages not to blue screen here, but it still doesn't, work basically. Yeah, see. So let's just do Office and see. So we got LibreOffice. So let's install the later version. So this application manager is actually pretty good. It doesn't really install. It's more of a downloader. So once it downloads, it just it executes what the setup program would normally do. So instead of downloading the application separately, double clicking on it or clicking on it, this downloads it for you from a repository and starts it up. So it's not frozen, it just it's computing space requirements. All right, so we're good. I'm going to do typical because I looked at the custom before, and it just gives you a bunch of language options. So we don't really care about different languages at this point. But yeah, there's quite a bit if you're in a different area and use something else besides English. So sometimes the next button doesn't get updated. Oh, it looks like it's frozen. Okay, let's wait for it. Maybe it's not really frozen. There we go, it's not frozen. Okay. Okay, so let's create a Word or a writer document. Oh, yeah, I meant to write hello. Okay, so it's not the recording. There's no cursor there. And this is true whether it's real hardware or in a VM. It just it's not there. Yeah, I can't get the cursor to show up. But if we do programs and go into, let's go into Notepad. You can see that, yeah, it works there. Okay, I'm just gonna close this, don't save. So there's a couple, there's Foxit and Sumatra PDF. Let's install them and see what happens. I'm just accepting all the defaults. Okay. Okay, unable to download package. We don't care. Okay, though, we need a PDF document to read. Go to my computer. We should have an X drive. There it is. So let's take a look at this. So this is a PDF I pulled off my computer, and it looks like it's displaying it properly. So good. Must be some bugs. Yeah. Yep, it's buggy. Okay, let's try this Sumatra. Did we install that? Okay, let's try this again. All right, this time it didn't crash. No drag and drop. And this one looks a little bit better. It's not loaded with all kinds of crap, and it's not crashing yet. Yeah, it's okay. Update system. Okay, so usually with the Windows, you got Windows Update. Here's my Windows 10. There's lots of updates. Now you notice that there's a download button here. And if you notice, there's a little check mark. Not a check mark, an asterisk. Will ask you to download up except when updates are required to keep Windows running smoothly. So that means Microsoft can force an update on me. Now the reason you see a download button here is I've made a group policy change that would allow me to select when to download and install my Windows updates. And even with that, it still shows this, which means like it's almost useless if you're really trying to keep your system from being updated by Microsoft all the time. Okay, but that's enough of this Microsoft rant. Yeah, I don't remember seeing any update in administrative tools. Nope. Accessories. Let's go through all these. No, there's no update. Let's just end this with something that actually works and is surprising. Is if you're gonna play around with this and you want to write some apps, there's actually a very good RAD system in here. So this is a cross-platform applications development system, and it's great. You can make really simple utilities by drag and drop, and once you're done in this, you can load up the same thing in Linux or other systems that support it and recompile it for that platform. So once you've done your code or design, so I'm just going to write a little program here. So you can drag buttons and all kinds of other stuff that you see here. I'm just going to basically do something simple. So I'm just going to change the name there and make it say click me. There we go. And once you click it, I'm going to change the message. Okay. So the language underneath this system is Object Pascal. I know some of you like, it's out of fashion, but it really doesn't matter if you're just doing small utilities and that sort of thing. If you're going to do web apps and that crazy stuff, then yeah, this is not for you. But if you got, some time on your hands and you want to do like a little game or a little utility and you want it to be cross-platform, this isn't bad. This is actually pretty good. So, I made a typo. It's supposed to be button 1. Okay, let's try this again. And there we go. I made an application in ReactOS in like 2 seconds. Not really 2 minutes. So if I click on it, hey, it says I did it. You did it. Okay, that's it. So if you want to make little goofy programs, you can use it for that. So that's where I will end this.